Welcome to Southern Sisters, where real talk meets rooted faith. We're your hosts, Megan, Lindsay, Courtney, and Evie, bringing sisterhood, laughter, and a whole lot of grace to the everyday chaos. Welcome to our episode of Southern Sisters. We are so glad you're here. Thank you for being with us today. So I feel like every time we do this, we have different challenges. We usually record at Mom's office, and we are actually doing these in our playroom upstairs. So we're holding our breath and hoping that it all goes okay. So this is going to be great. All right. We have a couple of things. Housekeeping first. So first thing we're going to do is we really wanted to do a giveaway for the month of June. This is our first podcast that we're releasing in June. This is about Father's Day. We're going to talk about our father. But before we get into that, we are doing a giveaway for anyone that leaves a review on Apple Podcasts.
Because we're sharing them every episode and we're running out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need more.
And we love them.
We love them.
We do.
So the more you give stars for the podcast and leave reviews, the more Apple pushes it out. So we are just wanting to share this message with everyone, and we appreciate everyone that's able to give reviews. So thank you for supporting us in this podcast. We are so excited.
Yes. Will
it'll be
we
great.
share what the giveaway is on Instagram?
Oh, yeah. That's great.
We're going to put it together this week.
And what are we calling it? Our summer what?
Summer giveaway.
Speaking of reviews, our good friend Cassandra, who is in Castle Explorers with Lindsay and I, submitted this review last week. And when I read it, it made me tear up. So thank you. I may be biased, she says, because I know two of the sisters from the travel agency I'm in. But now that I have listened to the podcast, I feel like I know the other sisters too. I started listening to this podcast, and it has been such a refreshing getaway for me during the day. It has really helped me work on my positive mindset. I'm encouraged when I listen to these sweet mamas who love Jesus and their family so much. I'd love to hear even more about parenting and taking care of the household, because that is where I feel like I struggle the most. Thanks for putting yourselves out there. You are being heard. And I loved that.
That's
We
so
love
sweet.
you.
I thought it was fantastic. Okay, so today we are talking about Father's Day. So our icebreaker question for the day is, what is the most dad thing your dad still does or says? So what dad things do we have?
The most dad thing that my dad still does, he's done this his whole life, I believe, is he tucks in any shirt that he is wearing into his jeans, even if it's a t-shirt. So he's got that basic dad look sometimes. The sneakers, the jeans, the tucked in shirt, sometimes even the hat.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
I love it. You guys, what about our dad? What's the most dad thing that he still says or does?
Mine is that he always tells me he loves me and he's proud of me. Every time I see him. That's
What
that's
does
a very dad
he
thing.
say? You know how much I love you, right? Yeah.
You know how much I love you, right? When I asked my kids, I was asking one of my kids this morning, and that's what he said. He said, Grandpa always says, you know how much I love you, right? What my dad still says is, shut the door. Except for he does it like, he doesn't want us to shut it loudly. So shut the door. Quiet.
Well, it's because he pays for the AC. I get it now that I'm a parent.
For sure. Yeah. Another thing that I think that my dad was always like a good example of is he always, and he still does, teach the joy principle. Jesus, others, yourself. Like that's the order of how you need to categorize your priorities.
That's good. I got a juicy story. When I was younger, my dad says, love is a verb, Lindsay, love is a verb. And I remember being like, love is a verb? What does that mean? And it wasn't until I was older that I understood how different our love languages are. So mine is words of affirmation. And so I was like, I just need you to say it. And our dad's love language is acts of service. And so I never understood that till I got older. I was like, oh, but one time he just would say it all the time. Like he was trying to teach me as a kid to show things by doing service for people, which is a very important quality to have as an adult, as you're growing up. But something I never told my dad. So one year it was Father's Day or his birthday or something. I decided, because I was so sick in my preteen self of hearing that love is a verb, Lindsay. And so I decided I was going to cross stitch that on a little thingy. So I was learning how to cross stitch. And so I cross stitch on a thing. And when I started off, it was
Did you just put it in a hoop? Was it
Yeah.
just in a hoop, or was
Yeah.
it like a pillow or something?
No, it was just in a hoop. I wasn't good enough for the pillow, but
Making sure we
I
knew
was
what
a beginner.
thingy meant.
Thingy. Thingam.
exactly. But what was funny is I don't think he knows, because when he opened it, he was like, "Thank you so much," and I was like, because I totally meant it sarcastically when I started doing it, but as I was continuing to make it, I was like, okay, I get what he's talking about. You got it. Because it took me forever. I was like brand new, and it was not cute, but he was blown away. So it made me laugh. So every time he says it now, it just cracks me up. He like shares that story. You did this cross stitch, and he thinks it's so sweet. And I'm like thinking of myself being like,
Such a brat. I'm a brat.
yeah, so love you, Dad. I really do mean it now. It is a true thing.
So you were trying to make a mockery of him with cross stitch.
Yes.
And then by
What
the
a
end
weird
of it,
way.
You were like, I get it.
Yeah.
Actually is a verb.
Yeah, because it
I've
took
been
me
serving
forever.
through the cross stitch.
And he liked it. Exactly. So I got the lesson, Dad.
sure
And then
did.
every time you say it, I'm reminded of that. That sometimes we serve with not a happy heart. And then you get happier later. So that was a lesson he taught me. You still serve anyways.
All right. So today we are going to share the biggest lesson that you learned from your dad and how it's showing up in your life now or in your parenting, and what does that look like. So I'll go first. I am so grateful that I was raised by my dad. He was not perfect, but I had a great life. He taught me so many things. And one of the things that I value now more than I think I've ever realized before is that my dad pushed me out of my comfort zone. And he had me do the uncomfortable thing, even though I didn't want to. But it was really great to practice doing the uncomfortable thing. For example, we have this picture of myself driving a boat when I was like 7 or 8 years old, tears streaming down my face. And I was so angry because I did not want to steer the boat. And he was like, "Come on, Megan, steer the boat." And I'm sure he's thinking most kids would enjoy driving a boat, but not this scaredy cat kid. But he had me do it anyway. And it was just like that picture just is symbolic of so many things in my life, that he just helped me get out of my own comfort zone. And I think because of that, it makes me not afraid now. Like, it helps me to be fearless now when I'm feel prompted to do things like start a podcast or whenever I'm dealing with my kids and I just, think out of the box. Like these things, like the uncomfortable, because you can sit in the uncomfortable, you can work yourself out of the uncomfortable. Another example of that is we built a deck together. He's like, "Come on, Megan, you're going to help me build a deck." And my job was to hold the 2x4s underneath while he screwed everything in on top. And I just remember being like, "There's bugs. It's muddy down here. Like, this is gross. I don't want to do this." But we did it anyway. And you just kind of worked through how you do it. So I have a lot of experiences like that, but I'm sure someone else would like to share what they learned.
Well, speaking of building things, I just remembered something. Lindsay, do you remember whenever we were building the fence and he would cut off? He was sharpening the...
Oh, yeah. So he took a fence that was like full length and then was cutting off the poles, like the ones that go in the ground, the posts. And so every time he would do it, I just thought it was the funniest thing from Christmas Vacation. He would chainsaw one off the top and then he'd go, "Fix the little post." And I thought it was funny every time.
Every time.
Like all
There
30
were
times.
Like 15.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Lindsay, please."
It never stopped getting funnier because I just had that image of him like doing that. So, I mean, I feel like our dad taught us so much about work. I have so many stories of like early mornings mowing the yard, like all sorts
Getting
of
woken up to the weed whacker outside our
yes, and us being like, oh man, it's 6 o'clock on a Saturday.
But you couldn't not go down.
No.
You needed
So
to get
we had to help. And it taught me so much. He taught me so much about being an entrepreneur. He had businesses and not only did he have a business, but he created a family where he was. He has people still working for him that have been there from the beginning. And he had this way of, he is very charismatic and he's very charming. And so when he hugs you with his whole heart. And he has this way of helping people to feel like they were his best friend, and everyone loved him. And I feel like I've gotten that from him. And when I was talking to my husband, he's like, Lindsay, you totally have this. He said, people are your best friends even when you don't want them to be your best friends. He's like, they just open up to you. And he's like, I watch people do it all the time. And that totally came from my dad. He just is so warm and inviting to people. And so that I feel like I've brought to my business is not just create a business. That doesn't mean as much as like having people that you really care about and that love you. So that is what we've created. So it's been awesome. Lots of traveling, lots of memories. And me and Courtney were talking about that one. Like he brought the magic of travel. He's the reason why we traveled. Mom is like my husband, and it would be fine to never go anywhere ever. And I'm really glad that he didn't let that happen, because he taught me his brain and my brain work a lot of the same. And so he had to get away to be able to clear his mind and to not worry about the stuff going on with his business and his life and everything going on. So he would make a point to travel and to go do fun things and to have surprises and go at the last minute and take us places. And that is where I learned my love for travel, because it's so true. When I am out of my normal day-to-day stuff, it helps me to clear my mind and see the big picture. It's amazing what a little distance will do for your life. So he's the reason I love travel.
I feel like he's really good at teaching us to be still, and like
Yeah.
really value in going away and just being still, like sitting on, like I love sitting on the balconies at the beach, just watching the waves. I love camping just because we can just sit and do nothing and just be in nature. You know, like there's just, he's helped us love so many of those things. Also, a big thing that he's done, I think, is help us with our love for music. I feel like he always provided a really safe place for us to be really bad to get better. You know, like my mom, she told me, she's like, you got to get through a lot of bad before you can get to the good stuff whenever you got a karaoke room in your garage. So you got to listen to a lot of bad. And he would always be singing around the house. And I was just telling some friends a couple weeks ago that I didn't realize the songs he was singing were real songs. I thought he was just, he's like a human jukebox, right? So whenever I'm like, Dad, can I go to blah, blah, dream a home, like, oh, that's a real song. I heard it on the radio. I thought he was
Like
just
years later.
singing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then now something that's carried with me into motherhood is when I start singing a song randomly, I can't ever finish a dang song without everybody else joining in. And I just hear Dad's voice in my head saying, I can't even finish one dang song.
Yep.
Like, it's so true. But you created that, right? You created the love for music. So
That is a story that I thought of as we were talking about this, is the whole music thing. Our mom was theory, and she's the reason why we sing as well as we do, or as like tried really hard to like get us to that point. Our dad was the love of music. So she loved music, but
She was church lady singing.
yeah, and he was fun singing. And so I remember one Christmas, Mom never did fun. Just kidding. Courtney's laughing. So I remember one Christmas, he did a really cool present for my mom. There was this couple, they were this older couple, and they had a karaoke machine in their garage and like speakers, and it was really cool. And he recorded an album for my mom with like songs that reminded him of her.
lady.
You might not and shining over, whatever. So I just said you're my knight
Yeah,
in
I'm
shining.
your knight in shining.
Okay. So it was really cool. So he goes to pick it up, and me and you were with him. That was it, right? You weren't there, were you? It was me and you because you were still a little younger. So Megan and I went with him, and they were talking about, don't they sing? Get up and sing something. And we were like, okay. And so we sang a couple songs. They were like blown away. It was so fun to do. And we were in the car on the way home. And he said, okay, I need to tell you guys something. We were like, what? And he said, it was right before Christmas. And he said, under the Christmas tree right now is a computer. Because we had begged for a computer. We didn't have a computer. It was before, like, the internet had just come out. We couldn't send emails.
Our horse and buggy was a little tired.
Yeah, we sound so old. But it's like we couldn't send emails to our friends or AIM chat.
I couldn't get on AOL and chat.
Yeah, dial up. Yep. Anyways, we do sound old. Anyways, y'all know what we mean. Y'all are our audience. But anyways, so you lived it too. So he said, right under the Christmas tree right now is a computer. Do you want the computer or do you want a karaoke machine for Christmas? And we were like, we want a karaoke machine. I said, like that one? And he was like, yeah, like that one. And we were like, shut up. We want a karaoke machine. Forget about the computer. So I remember that Christmas we opened the presents and he got us both the computer and the karaoke machine. And he set the whole garage up. He insulated the garage. We had a disco ball. He built like a stage that was like a little bit, half a foot off the ground. And it was amazing.
New York City skyline pre-World
With
Trade
the
Centers.
Twin Towers.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. And I got
on the wall.
yeah. And so it was amazing because we got to come home every day. We had the coolest house with our friends for parties. Every birthday, all the kids wanted to hang out at our house. And every day I got to come home with my super heartbroken teenage self with whatever drama was happening and just sing at the top of my lungs and like let it all out. And it was so therapeutic for me. And it helped me become better at music, better at dealing with emotions. And it was so much fun.
You had to make sure those songs were age appropriate because I'd be singing some. And you lie next to me. And I'm 15 years old. And Dad walks in. He's like, "What do you mean? Who lies next to you? What do you mean?"
Or write a report on what
Exactly. Yeah.
What the words to a song.
yeah.
How many times did you have to do that?
Yeah.
Just once. That's all it took.
So funny.
So many great memories.
I love
I've told that story on here, right?
I don't think
No,
so.
you have not.
I don't think
No.
so.
No.
You had an Ursher song, right?
Yeah.
Now
Josh
she's
was
got to
singing-
tell
Josh
it.
was singing or listening to my Usher CD in his room, and Dad walks by and he's like, "What are you listening to?" And it was that, yeah.
Yeah.
So they got Dad. Sorry, Dad.
In
Anyways,
the club with my homies.
Exactly.
perfect. Yeah. Anyways, so he's like, "What is this?" And so I had even Usher on the CD. He had a shirt off.
Yeah.
Of course.
Taken a black permanent marker and drawn a shirt on him. like I was just trying so hard to make it like the
Appropriate.
CD though. Who do you think bought me the CD? You, Mom. 100%.
Oh, totally.
Right?
Yeah.
Anyways, so
Ooh, they
So
just
he's-
started a fight.
he's listening to
He never knew that. He knows.
Josh is like, "It's Courtney's CD," and I was like, "Dang it!" And so he's like, "Courtney, that was not a good song. I need you to write me a report and break down every single lyric to the song. Tell
Yeah.
me what it means, and then you're going to tell us what it means at a family home evening, our family night, and you're going to read it to us." So I'm sitting there reading this report. Were y'all there?
Yes, we were.
I was not.
I
was
remember
married.
it clearly.
And I was like being a smart butt. I was
Yeah.
like being a smart aleck. I was like, and Shorty fills cups like double D's means. I was doing it all with a totally straight face. And I was like, you asked for it, you gonna get it.
And let me say this in front of your young son.
That was the best part. Yeah. We were were all like,
I had
wide-eyed.
a friend who said, I heard that song the other day and I thought of you. She had to write that report.
We always think of you when
So
we hear that song.
what did Dad say? So you're reading it and you get in a few lines because you knew what it meant.
It's bad. Yeah.
And then what did he do?
I don't know.
You don't remember?
No.
We were all like, and he goes, stop. You didn't get to finish the report because he's like, stop. You were like explaining it in detail.
Yeah,
and me and
I
Josh
went
were
into
like,
it.
What's gonna happen?
yeah, it was funny.
Oh, that was funny. I learned a lot that day.
Yeah.
You got an education.
And how is that translated into your parenting today?
Have you ever done that? Made them write a report?
They don't listen to bad stuff. I don't know.
That's good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
You're more cautious, I
How
guess.
is
So.
that translated into my parenting today? We're very mindful of the words that we listen to and bring into our home.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It's true.
Well, and music has gotten so much worse than it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's
also,
everywhere,
it's
but you have to
gotten
teach
so
them.
much better.
Yeah. You just have
There's
to find the good.
more options that are so good if you know where to
Yes.
find.
That are like good, but like also cool.
yeah.
The cool ones were never the good ones, and the good ones were never cool. So now there's a great mix.
Yeah.
That's great. Evie, what about you?
Well-
what did you learn from your dad?
I just want to say first that I can attest to your dad always singing and loving music, and I hope he doesn't mind if I share this story. So one day I went over to Mom and Dad's house because I was going to help Mom organize and declutter her home office, and she was not going to be there until later. And so I show up, and your dad is in the shower.
Didn't
And
know you were coming, right?
He did not know I was coming.
Okay.
I did not see anything. But I did hear him singing, "Oh, Sharon, na, 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 hold on, hold on." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
And you thought he was
Someone's
home
happy
alone?
today. Yes. Yes. And then later he finds out I'm there, and he was like,
Didn't he get startled or something? He saw you and was like,
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he ended up playing a prank on your mom, and he was like, I'm going to call her and tell her that you walked in on me when I was showering. And she was like, oh, my goodness, let me call her right now. It was so funny. But when it comes to my dad, there are a lot of things that I learned from him that has translated into my motherhood today. My dad is also the reason that I am a huge music lover. And I'm actually wearing this shirt for him today, Def Leppard, because he loves classic rock. So all growing up, we would listen to Guns N' Roses, Def Leppard, AC/DC, Led Zeppelin. But he also loves like all genres of music. So he loves classical. He plays the piano. And so some days, like if he was able to drop us off at school, like one day we'd be listening to rock and he would blast it. So anytime we were being dropped off, as soon as we would open the door, everyone could hear it. And the next day it'd be like Beethoven, and people were confused, like, what is going on? Yeah. Yes. So that's one thing that I have, I guess, incorporated with my kids is Brody. Like he loves the song Thunderstruck by AC/DC. Like it's so weird. He likes a lot of old music, but I love that, honestly. But one thing is his love for the gospel and searching for answers in the scriptures, not just when it comes to spiritual things, but also like anything in my life that I'm having questions about. So growing up, anytime that I had a question about something, he would say, let's sit down and see what the scriptures say, because his dad would do that with him. And I remember being a teenager and just being like, oh, like, why can't you just tell me the answer? Like, this is so annoying. Like, just tell me. But now as an adult, I really appreciate that, because it's taught me to search for my own answers and receive my own revelation about things versus what people tell me I should do or what people think I should do. And as my kids have gotten older, especially my oldest Jade, I've been trying to do that with her as well, is looking to the scriptures or looking to Jesus' counsel for answers about things. Another one is something that my dad would always say to us growing up, and I'm going to say it in Spanish, but he would always say, no hagas cosas malas que parecen buenas. And it doesn't exactly translate the way that it's worded in Spanish to English. So I wanted to get it right. I asked my sister, like, what would be the correct translation to that? And she said, it's don't disguise wrongdoing as something good. And she had a scripture to go with that, which is Isaiah 5:20, which is, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness. So anytime that we were, being a little rebellious and maybe we did something wrong, or anytime we were going to go hang out with friends, he would always say that to us. And that has stuck with me throughout life.
That's like our remember who you are.
Yeah.
What you stand for.
I love it. So we have some listeners that we kind of reached out to and thought, what does the best advice your dad ever gave you? And wanted to read a few of those. From Serena, she says, faith, family, and freedom are things worth fighting for, which is a great dad lesson. From Tawny, she said, people remember how you made them feel more than anything that you say and do. And I think our dad was good at that too. Having the right attitude as soon as you wake up. He used to say, I feel good today every morning, and would have us say it on the way to school when he drove us, which I thought that was really cool.
I feel good today.
Yep.
Seminary.
She also said, say thank you. No one owes you anything in this life, so thank people for things they give or do. And number 4 was, people died to give us the freedoms we have. We better, all caps here, put a hand over our heart when the Star Spangled Banner is sung or Pledge of Allegiance is said, no matter your age, no exceptions. So I thought that was great.
From Carly, my dad taught me you can have fun without breaking the spiritual covenants you've made with Heavenly Father. Most all of you know my dad. He is the life of the party wherever he goes. When you're trying to fit in, it can be so hard to not look at the church as a set of rules. This is our uncle, my mom's brother. He helped me realize it's not all about what you do, but how you do it, and how to be a disciple of Christ that isn't afraid to recognize and speak up for what is and isn't right. He also taught me how to cut grass, but I think the other one answers your question better.
Hey, a finely manicured lawn is very important.
Very important.
Yes.
Okay, and Michelle Billman says, I lost my dad as well. His parents were converts to the church, so treating everyone the way you would want to be treated was important for him to instill in us. He would also say the gospel of Jesus Christ is perfect, but people are not. And one of my favorites, have faith and don't sweat the small stuff.
I like that.
So I think in closing, we just want to say we recognize that sometimes all dads are not around anymore. And if that's something that you are struggling with, you have our heart, because we understand what it looks like to see someone struggle and to not be who they are anymore, and what that looks like and how difficult that is. Brene Brown says, when someone you love becomes a memory, that memory becomes a treasure you carry, not to replace the loss, but to honor the love that you shared together. And I love that because I feel like we're all walking this journey together, and we have seasons where people are in our lives and then it just changes, and that's really hard. So if you are struggling with Father's Day because your father's not around anymore, I would just encourage you to find peace through our Heavenly Father, because He is there for all of us.
That is one thing that I wanted to mention too. Like, our dad, I was talking to Mom and Dad about this the other day. He continues to teach us that He's our earthly father. And I remember, as we were talking about this, he said it to me yesterday, that our Father in heaven is who we should turn to always. And He's so grateful to be our earthly father, but that is who we really need to turn to. I remember Mom was like, I used to hate it when he said that because I didn't want you to feel abandoned. But it's true because fathers are not always there. And as we grow up and things happen, that's who we can truly turn to when we need help. That will always be there for us.
Mm-hmm. And some of you know this, but our dad has had Parkinson's for the last
6 years.
8 years. And so he's been really sick. And so that's what kind of Megan's referring to, that we know what that struggle looks like whenever nothing prepares you for your parents getting older, and it's hard. And sometimes Father's Day can be really hard for people. So we just, our heart goes out to you guys.
And if you have any parents that are sick or struggling, like, we get that too. And to watch someone go through that is heartbreaking. And all you can do is to be there for the people you love. And it's changed who I am and how I show up for people.
It's been amazing to me to watch the process of aging with my parents. And 2 things that I know. Number 1, it has made me, as a parent, make the most of the moments right now. Because
You never know when things are going to change.
When it could change like a drop of a hat. We have so many great memories.
Oh, I'm so glad we do.
I mean, if your parents only waited until they retired to have fun.
Yeah.
It'd be horrible.
Can you imagine? Mm-hmm. And then second is, through trials, through everything you're handed with, they have never lost their faith.
Yeah. Even still to this day, like the strength and the faith and the endurance, it blows my mind.
Enduring to the end is horrible. It just is.
Yeah.
But they do so with
different for everybody.
But they do so with such grace and faith that they're walking, that it's just an example. And
it has brought them closer to God going through this than before, even without it, you know?
Yeah.
And it's really strengthening to watch. And it's important to teach our kids to love people as they are.
Yeah.
And Dad, I feel like, always really tried hard to spoil everybody. Mm-hmm. And he just feels like he can't do that right now. And I'm glad he can still see that the kids still adore him.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like he doesn't have
without
to
all
do,
the things.
He doesn't have to do anything without. Even my 2-year-olds, that they'll just run up to him and give him a hug and say, "Where's Grandpa?" whenever Grandma's around. You know?
Yep.
Just love, unconditional love.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, in closing, this is our reflection moment for this episode. What kind of legacy do you want to pass on because of what your father taught you? So I challenge you to think about that this week as you're heading into Father's Day in the month of June. Like, what did you learn from your own father that you want to carry on as a legacy with your kids?
And next week, we have a special treat.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Should we tell them?
Yeah. We hope it's special for us.
Cut it if we need to.
No, yeah.
What's happening next week? What's
Tell
our
us,
podcast
Megan.
going to be?
Next week, we're hopeful that we have our husbands on here, kind of like the kids episode, except for it's going to be better because I'm not going to have to edit as much. Hopefully. So hopefully it'll be great. So you can look forward to that. But until next time,
Keep striving, and we'll see y'all soon.
We love you, Dad. Te amo, papi.
thanks for hanging out with us here at Southern Sisters. If you loved today's episode, don't forget to follow us on social media for more laughs, heart-to-hearts, and behind-the-scenes real life. We'd be thrilled if you subscribed to the podcast, left us a review, and shared it with your friends, because life's always better when we're on this journey together. Until next time, keep striving, keep laughing, and keep showing up. We'll see you all back here real soon.
Yeah.
Summer giveaway. It's going to be really good. Rest assured, it's going to have...
I thought that name was going to be better. I said, what did you call it earlier? And you were like,
Summer giveaway.
It was funny.
Summer things.
Summer essentials.
Yeah, like maybe a Stanley Cup or two. Maybe
Southern Sisters Summer Survival Essential Kit.
Oh my gosh.
Southern Sisters Summer Survival Kit.
Yes.
Southern Sisters Summer Survival Kit.
Southern Sisters.
Say that 3 times fast.
That's gonna be
Gift card to Chick-fil-A.
It's gonna make my list come back out.
Pump it up. Let's not say what there is going to be in there. Because we're already at 2 Stanley Cups, but Chick-fil-A gift cards. We're each putting in $100.
We're gonna have like 70,000 reviews.
Yeah,
That's every mom's dream.
It is every mom's dream to have so many reviews. Speaking of, I would like
It's every mom's dream to have so many reviews. We're like, what? I was talking about
She's multitasking.
The Southern Sisters Summer Survival Kit.
the Summer Sisters Southern Survival Kit.
You said it wrong.
The Southern Sisters Summer Survival Kit.
I'm not even gonna attempt it.
don't do it.
No, say it in Spanish.
La Southern Sisters.
La Southern Sisters.
La Southern.